Hopefully this all works. All right, there we go. Alrighty. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Riddick's Guest Hero Guild of Thrones, episode 8 guide covering some more breeding. Today we have special guest, Mr. Armandi. How are you today?
Good, my friend. Here, just finished enjoying my delicious Russian breakfast here in Miami. Staying with Anita, with Anastasia, and with Neve. It's been such a great ride, and we've been playing Gas Hero like crazy. Even Anita, right now, she's like my sensei with numbers, but in her own perspective, starting like from scratch with commons and just couple of uncommons, and that fresh perspective is great. So having just fun, man. All good.
Oh, love it. So one of the things I was actually talking to James Work about this on a space. Anastasia was on there as well. Is I would love to see them do like a custom bracket for the Hero Mountain that they've just launched, where you can get kind of groups of your friends and upload them into the private PvP, so you can sit there and have battle nights and things like that. And if you want to sweeten the pot and throw some GMT in there, what a kick that would be.
I think it would be great. The only thing would be that, thinking that doing that, how will make some things being like close, like maybe sometimes like being open. It's good, especially right now that we are in Web 3 and we are like talking about all around the world. I think if we do that kind of things, it may get us, some people getting close again.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing. I mean, the what I love about the PvP aspect, and this is actually what I loved about Stefan all in all was, the community vibe and the aspect that it created. And I've seen I don't know if you've seen Yawn now doing the five energy with Yawn chat shows. I was actually waiting for someone to actually step up and do something like that, where they actually went out walking. And for the duration of the walk, turned it into a talk show. I actually had you in mind, thinking that you would eventually do it.
It's been like, you know what is okay. So we have many things to do, and actually, I'm not going to reveal anything, but I'm working on something like that. As a, I'm just going to call Anastasia my new brand manager as well. but still working on that part. Still working on that part. But I think this is the part of like, if we are here in the space, we need to take the chance to try to release as much content as we can. And let me tell you, really, something that's very great. I've been using the Meta smart glasses, and they are amazing. The Meta smart glasses are amazing because they allowed me to create content on the go everywhere where I go, and it just helps you to do that. You can do live streams with them. I haven't done it before because I'm practicing how to use them, but also with the Vision Pro, I'm starting to see how can I create this kind of content, uh, talking about our own adventures, right, man? You've been traveling all around as well, and I haven't seen you that many content from you traveling around doing your step and walks or things like that. So you should as well.
Oh, huge! And like that's I've actually thought exactly that when Facebook announced the Meta glasses. Is this is something, and maybe if the team listens to this, and maybe you can collaborate with them, given your experience with the AR VR stuff. But there's a whole element of digital tourism that can be implemented. Like I know you travel a bit. I do a lot of traveling. I actually did do some of the video walking content when I was doing. I think Barn Dog was doing the EU tour at the time, because we had a bit of a race to see who could cover the most countries. But I was actually recording all of my walks. I did Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, and I think I recorded like what was it, 10 energy per country that I was in. Feels like it was decades ago. But for the Steppen team, I tell you, there's so many places that I have to research, and I end up watching videos on YouTube. And weirdly enough, just because of Stefan, I always look what the walking is like. So, to have some sort of a concept where you've got people who have the meta glasses recording their Stefan walks and the type of things they do, I could see a massive use case for digital tourism, kind of paired with the Stefan community. Oh, I think your mic's on mute there.
Oh, sorry about it. So of course, traveling around it's always better, right, than traveling in using the metaverse. But traveling using the metaverse is maybe 50%, let's say 40, 50, even 70 for some people if you have really good imagination, the same experience as if you're traveling physically, right? So at some point, because not that many people can travel, and not because, not, let's not say about the money, let's say about they have a family, right? If you travel, you need to move 3 kids, 2 dogs, and all these things, and that makes it hard. But if you get this VR headset and you can travel around and experience the world around you, it still can help you to understand many things. Because you can you say, my friend, that traveling is one of the most fulfilling things that you have done to grow up as a person, to learn things.
Oh, insanely. I mean, that's it's I've come to realize that, the way technology has evolved, we went from, being this human species that was obsessed with traveling and exploration and discovering the new world and the old world and artifacts and new technologies and new experiences and ever since the iPhone was released in '06, I think it was, we've become very withdrawn from that part of our basic psychology, that we're just so withdrawn into the screen and everything like that. So it's, you do cross the people who have that perception of the world of getting out there and things like that. And what I found is, I actually don't have social media outside of my Twitter account. I don't have any personal social media. I kind of escaped, I call it my prison. And what I've learned from my travels is it becomes all about culture and the sharing of history and, learning about people's cultures and different foods and different religions and different beliefs, and what makes people happy and what makes them sad. And one of the things that, and this is kind of what I love, once your eyes get open, it puts everything into perspective. It's, you look at countries. I spent a lot of time in Central South America, and there's some great cities there, but there's a lot of impoverished parts of the country that I've been able to see and appreciate my own life. um, but I think every year they do a World Happiness Index where they do kind of sampling from every country on a large scale of how happy they are. And it was last time I actually looked at the stats would have been, I think, 2020, 2021. But 8 out of the top 10 countries were all in Central America, from areas where, they don't have access to a lot of these technologies, but they figured out the secret of family and friends.
No, but you know what, man? The thing is not the technology. It's not the technology. What's happened? Like for me, of course, I'm from Mexico, so I can talk about that part. What I could say, the problem, what has happened, because I also live in Vancouver, right? So I've lived there for almost 7 years. And I love Vancouver. But what I realized from people living in first world countries, let's call it like that, is that they don't appreciate many things. They don't appreciate many things that they have. I remember when the first time I moved to Vancouver, I was even happy. Like I was finishing. I moved to Vancouver after finishing my major in economics, and realizing that I was not a 9 to 5 person. Okay, I was not a 9 to 5 person, so I just decided, you know what, I cannot do this. I prefer moving to Vancouver and maybe starting washing dishes than just being like a slave here in a 9 to 5 work. And what has happened? I was actually pretty happy in Vancouver because it was a challenge for me. It was a challenge, and that challenge helped me grow. I remember my dad. The last weekend that I stayed there in Mexico, I did this barbecue, and I remember my dad telling me, hey, son, why are you leaving if you have everything here? And I told him, exactly because of that, because I have everything here, I cannot grow as a person. So I think what happened with third world countries, let's call it, or with more poor countries, is that because we sometimes don't have all the things that the first world country have, eh, it's doesn't we don't take that for granted, and that taking things for granted is the first step to feel unhappy for the things that you have. And I think that is the problem. It is not technology. I've been using technology and I'm super happy with technology for many years now. For more than 15 years I've been using technology to improve my life, and I don't feel unhappy but happy. But why? Because I have learned to appreciate what I have, and not thinking in what I don't have. And that's my perspective. But we're going very philosophical in this. in, what are your thoughts, my friend?
Oh, I think you hit the nail on the head. And that's it does actually stem back obviously to taking things for granted. And I think that the part that, from my perspective, I think technology plays in it is it makes it easy to access. Let's say Instagram, or you're scrolling through, or TikTok, and all of a sudden you see someone who is taking pictures with a Lamborghini, and you're driving a car that gets you from A to B and it's reliable, but all of a sudden, because you're seeing things that other people have, you
That
start
is
weighing yourself against all of that. But what you don't see is the car in the picture is rented or it's somebody else's. And it just creates this false perception within a picture that doesn't tell the story that's happening behind the scenes. And it leaves people discontent, wondering, am I doing something wrong? Am I doing something right? And it just has, that essence of insecurity. But as you said, it comes down to being, not taking things for granted, and being so content and happy with the opportunities that we have to grow, to learn, to travel, to, experience and go through hardships that make us stronger as people.
exactly, totally. That's the part of it. And you know what? I'm just going to add this thing that people sometimes they don't like to hear, and I'm going to talk about envy. Envy is it's a very powerful emotion, and people, of course, envy it's correlated and negatively, right? Because if you tell someone, hey man, I have envy of you, how will you take it? They won't take it positively, because most people use envy in the wrong way. And I'm going to say sometimes having envy is good if you direct it in the right path. And what is that right path? Okay, so the wrong way to use envy is just looking whatever you're envy. Let's say the Lamborghini picture on the Instagram, and just uh, not doing anything and just feeling like this guy or whatever, or trying to send negative energy. That won't work, and it's not it's not efficient. But if you use envy to realize, okay, I'm feeling that I'm envy is lacking something. So it's, if you feel envy is okay, I'm lacking something. What I need to do myself to release this feeling, right? And that's where you have your power. It's like, okay, if I'm feeling envy because this guy is successful and I'm not, what I'm doing wrong? Instead of standing that why he has what he has, uh, move it to yourself. What I need to do, what I need to do right now. What's the first step that we need to do? And you know what? Actually, we can start talking about Gas Hero, because right now I really think we all have different strategies, and we all have different lineups and different incomes and different investment into the game. And many people focus on get your ROI as quick as possible. And you know what? This mindset sometimes is not the most efficient one. What do you think?
Oh, I 100% agree, and that's similar to yourself, because I know we've had discussions on it before. We've kind of got the same mindset on the strategies, and I mean it's a strategy that applies for Steppen as well. People buy and get into these high sneaker setups expecting like an ROI in a week or a month or 2 months, and it's not only with FSL, but you look at other major projects in the gaming industry as well. Is you look for those essences of stability, being able to appreciate how the market works with price spikes when demand is high, when token prices go up because of BTC going up and all of that. but you have to make those plans to cover your longevity. And I think that's what makes Gas Heroes so unique, is because our heroes do have a lifespan, whether it's the commons with 20 days, the uncommons with 30, and the rares with 40, is you have to be especially strategic and forward thinking, and seeing, basically along the lines of, how am I going to retain that stability and that longevity? How am I going to, ensure that I can play this game for an excessive period of time? And there's so many great tools and things out there that you can kind of achieve that. And that's, part of what I'm doing with the Guild of Thrones. Are you familiar with everything with the Guild of Thrones, all the details?
Maybe not all the details. If you wanna sync me in with some of the coolest one,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
will appreciate.
So the Guild of Thrones program, for yourself and then for anyone listening in, FSL, or Gas Heroes, selected a lot of the new and upcoming guilds and gaming companies, and a few select individuals, to create basically content using a select amount of assets that they were provided, to help actually pass on and educate new potential users and current users of the various strategies. So we all received 30 common heroes, 6 weapons, and 6 pets, as well as a base construction vehicle there. So the parameters that everyone was given is, you had free reign for the content you wanted to create. So if you wanted to split up those 30 heroes, you could split them up amongst, 5 accounts with 6 heroes each, and then, work on some with no weapons, or spread them out among, 15 accounts with 2 heroes each with no weapons, however you wanted to. But for me personally, I thought that the starting point was actually a really good starting point for uh, lower to mid tier type of players. So I wanted to keep it as organic and pure as possible. So from the start of this thread until the end of the thread of it's 32 days, it's the assets that we received is the assets that we work with, and they're the assets that we develop the account with. There is no external funds added. There are no external heroes added. There were no things transferred out. Everything remains internal to what we are doing. So the strategy that I wanted to employ is heavily revolved around this being a survival based Web3 game. So, my goal is to replicate my 6 heroes as quickly as possible within the 20-day lifespan that they have, um, so that I'm ready for that next cycle. So, my starting point, I started with 39 energy, and that was based on my 6 heroes that were equipped, and the energy that all of the extra heroes provided. So as we go through and we replicate, we're slowly increasing our energy with each consecutive breed that we do, which actually slingshots us a little bit ahead for that next cycle. So that's kind of where I'm at with this Guild of Thrones.
And so far, how you doing it? Because I already know you have an advanced team, right? But how you doing with this common team?
Well, I've actually I pre-recorded this morning, because normally, just for the content to make it easy, I typically record it. Sometimes if I'm super busy and I don't have access to the recording, I'll just blank slate it and record over. So I'll actually run this while we're on our stream, so you can see exactly kind of what my daily process works. So I'll just press play there, and I think I do a brief introduction there. I updated actually the logo while that's playing there. I added you to sit on the throne as a special guest. I think that's going
No,
to be
no
my.
way, no way. You add me? No way. I cannot believe it. As a graphic designer, like you're doing your effort, but as a graphic designer, for me, I'm just like something is killing me. But it's okay. It's part of the show is understanding, and this is the thing: understanding that we have different skills, different abilities, and not judging. I think the most important part is understanding. For example, what you're doing here with the presentation is great for you for what you're doing, and fantastic, man. And I love it's very minimalistic, the throne.
Oh, it is. I'm just looking at the picture. It's not centered. My OCD is like, oh no.
That's why I was scared. I was killing myself with that, but it's part of the show. It's better just to improve.
Oh, that's exactly it. So, all right. So switch back into the video here. We're now switching over. So this what day was this? I think this was day 9. So basically I'm just logging in here. I'm checking what resources I had. So I had the gas canisters 29 and the experience potions at 39. So obviously to do your common mints, you need 60 of the experience potions and 30 of the gas canisters.
I have a
Um,
question for you. Had you find out any advantages into minting uh, heroes with a lot of mints?
Uh, to be honest, right now the numbers don't necessarily add up, given the risk, because it does get exponentially more expensive. And with the cost of commons being a really good entry point at the moment, um, I always stick to the 0 and the ones, and then I'll either typically I for the 2s I save them as battery energy. So for my main accounts, my rare accounts, I never sell them because it's kind of pointless and because I am replicating my team so quickly. But rather than having to buy, I just, you know, I always do common rare mints, and it's treated me very, very well. I've averaged basically a break even, EV. But yeah, the level 2s, I just transfer them to my main holding account until my next rare account is in, and then I just chuck them in as the battery energy. And then if I end up with excess, then they go into the recycle mode. The benefit of actually doing them within the common based ground is that you've always constantly got a use for them. So from the 30 commons that I received from the team for the program, some of them were level 10, which is actually a great replication. So as I go through, the average, I think it's 14 days is the replication time for the heroes themselves, and then you have to get the weapons and the pets on top of that. But because I'm leveling them to level 10 in order to be able to mint them together, that just means the next cycle, I actually don't have to level them all the way to 20 from scratch. I can just level them from 10 to 20, and then I mint my next ones and level them to 10. So it actually makes it more of a smoother process. So
Okay,
basically
okay,
here,
that's sweet. That's sweet. I
yep.
got
So
wrecked.
I
I got wrecked the first time that I minted on common with rare, and they sent me a common. So after that, I just stopped doing any common rare mint for me.
have you gotten lucky with any of the double mints yet?
I did. Man, the last video that I posted, I was minting this uncommon with a common, and suddenly I got a common blessed kid, and I was like, no. Even Neve, he recorded. So I was like, no, but I accept my destiny, and suddenly, boom, it pop out a uncommon black sapphire out of nowhere.
Oh, I bet you were happy about that.
You can see that video on my Twitter.
Oh, I'll definitely be checking it. I'd say out of any of the heroes, that would be your hero doppelganger, your hero lookalike. I swear they kind of made that one look like you.
I swear to God, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because even is okay. So he's wearing glasses, but he's wearing the resilient gems, right? Purple resilient gems. And you know that all my PFPs, I always include resilient gems because I believe in the long term, as you believe in the long term, right? So all my PFPs include that gem because for me, I'm here and I've been in the steppen thinking and aiming for the long term. That's what I've been doing with more, and that's what I've been doing in Gas Hero. And I think you're in the same position, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm in all this for the long term. Like it makes sense, but I'm just bringing that up here so people can see. I wish I could zoom in there, but yeah, you can see the resilience gems in the glasses. I mean, the lookalike is completely uncanny there.
Totally. And you know what? He's shirtless, and I'm always running in the middle of early morning, 4 a.m. in the morning, shirtless. So I really think that's me.
I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm wondering if they have any direct meaning, the 85 and the 29. I never look at the details super specific, so I'm gonna have
Well,
to start doing that.
29. They choose 29, but people know that my lucky number is 25. Also, I don't know. This is weird. This is weird. And also, I think there's some other ambassadors represent here in Gas Hero, but of course they're not going to tell us.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I reckon Jerry's, or sorry, Yawn's got one in there, and I think I saw one of the Genesis ones with a bunch of cats. So I was like, I wonder if that's Yawn.
Man, right now, wait, let me just share my screen. Right now, I was leveling up the blessed kit that I got from from that mint that I'm talking about. Let me just share that screen. Give me 1 second. So I was leveling this blessed kit just for the sake of minting it, right? And third skill in the level 10.
Oh wow.
Fourth skill in level 10, man. I think
Yeah,
we need to show.
that's a special one.
That's a special one. That is a special. And you know what? I'm gonna mint it with the black sapphire that I got. So let me get some potions and let's come back to my screen. So let's go back to yours.
Oh, you're gonna do a mint here on live stream.
Of course, let's do it.
I love that. All right, so we'll jump back onto the video there. So, uh, yeah, these guys have roughly 12 days left. So this is my fifth breed. So I've got one more after this. So I just basically did my two tanks together. No, I did my telekinetic woman there. And the goal is I always stick when I'm doing my replication. I breed my tanks with tanks, my utility with my utility, and my damage with damage, because they're the teams I want to create. Obviously, I've got 30 heroes sitting there, so I don't have to worry necessarily too much, but it just helps the more it scales that I keep those ratios in place. So um, I ended up locking my GMT there because I didn't have enough for the 4 GMT mints. And then that's where I kind of start. Now my lineup, the obviously there's so many different variations in the lineups that you can kind of do. I've seen some very strong single target damage lineups. I've seen, some, obviously the healing type lineups, the stun type lineups. For me, because we are just making it super sweet and simple with replication at the common level, I opted for 2 healers. So I've got my single target instant healer and my oh, both of them are the single target healers. One of them is the gradual and the instant, so the faith healer and the truth seeker. And then I've got my altruistic banker and my little bulldozer, which are both multi-target damage. And then my blessed kid and my robotic bio-robotic soldier. So it did exactly what I thought they would, which was that easy level 6. And it's amazing how much of a difference the levels make. At level 10, they were getting demolished by the easy level 4. And then at 6, it just makes it easy as those they just kind of die down altogether.
Excellent. And okay, so with this lineup that you have what are the things that you feel you should upgrade first? Like for example, the upgrading the pets or changing the right weapon or just farming experience points to mint. What would you do first?
So for me, I've actually thought a lot about this process, and it's basically about analyzing uh, uh, the pros and cons of each. So if you think about it, if you focus the weapons and you've got the weapons, well, how useful are weapons if you don't have enough heroes to use them? The same with pets. If you have enough pets, how useful are they if you don't have the heroes to use them? So for me, the heroes by far are the number one priority. Even if I can only get 5 weapons, I can still place a front hero there with no weapon, and it still provides some use. Um, Weapons would be obviously my second choice in priority, because obviously the ones in that middle row and the back row, they are only useful if they hold a ranged weapon. So if I don't have a ranged weapon, then the heroes are kind of useless in themselves. Not necessarily useless, they just have to wait their turn to get to the front of the queue before they can start actually damaging, the enemy. Whereas without the pets, obviously, yes, there's increased damage taken, but with how cheap they are just for the eggs, they're always going to be my last priority in the replication cycle. So, what about yourself? Would you be similar in that respect?
So actually, right now, I'm just trying to build my next lineup. The way I focus on my first four teams, it was different because it was like learning on the go, and that learning on the go involved many things. And one of those things, of course, was building two uncommon teams before the nerfs, and then building two uncommon teams after the nerfs. So my strategies, they've been changing around how I see them fit. Like, for example, sometimes I upgrade the pet. I'm choosing keeping mostly the weapons that I equip my heroes, because I don't want to destroy them. Like I don't. I'm so cheap in that part. So I'm just keeping those weapons as I choose them, and I'm just choosing just to level up the pets. But of course, the less longevity my heroes have, the less likely I am willing to invest in them, and I'm just preparing myself for the next batch of teams that I'm creating. And that's why exactly right now I'm minting and I'm farming some weapons, I'm farming some pets, and I think I'm going to be able to make it, because my first team that I have, the one in Ashra, yeah, let's go back to my. Actually, it's ready to mint. By the way, no, it's not ready. Wait, no, not ready. It's about to die in 5 days. So I still have 5 days. So I could tell you that I start minting and farming for my next batch maybe 5 days ago, and I'm sure I'm gonna have enough to replenish maybe not 4 uncommon teams, but maybe just 2 uncommon teams and 2 common teams, but with weapons and all that stuff. But some of my uncommons won't be welding uncommon weapons or uncommon pets.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I've been doing. Because at the end, for example, something that I realized is that evolving uncommon and rare pets is way more expensive than evolving common pets. And each time you evolve a pet, you gain a new perk after level 3. So a level 4. If we want to go to, let's go to my screen. Let me share
Yep.
that.
Let me switch that here.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
So with the pets, for example, I was lucky enough to level up this level 3 pet that become rare, right?
Oh
But
wow.
this, yes, but this level 3, every time that you evolve a pet, you're winning a new skill. Let's see, a level. I have a level 4, a level 3, and a level 2. Okay, so if I have a level 2, you can see that I have 3 of these perks unlocked. But if I evolve my pet, I will have a fourth perk into the pet. And if I evolve the pet into level 4, I will have 5 perks. And I think these perks, like the change between, let's say, for example, check this level 4 pet and see 10%, 8%, 8%. And now let's see the rare one.
I've never seen a level 4 pet, to be honest.
Oh no? Well, you can see it
Nope.
now. There you go.
I've seen the rares, but I never knew they came in a common because basically I've just pretty much bought my pets directly from GMT that I farm from the game. So I always look for the tier 3, but it sounds like the pet evolution thing's something I've been missing out on.
And I think these pets are going to be more powerful with Genesis heroes, because at the end, for example, this pet level rare pet is just going to die. It's about to die in 11 days. So I will lose this one forever. But on Genesis Heroes, you will be able to keep that pet as long as you want, as long as the cycle lasts, evolving it over and over. And I think that would be the best value if you have some Genesis, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my perspective. Still, this thing is I'm still waiting. Let me refresh this part.
That's actually one thing. That was another thing that I had a chat with James and Anastasia about on their space. Was I'm kind of really hoping. So right now, I think the game in its foundations, I think that there's some supply control metrics that need to be incorporated to help stabilize. But for me personally, as a gamer, I've always had an affinity and loved those games that um, have some sort of long-term psychological attachment to what you're investing your time and your money into. So, it's great to have a rare team. It's great to be able to level them up. It's great to get them rare weapons and pets, but for what? For 40 days? And, I understand the concept of having heroes that expire, but I kind of like the idea of, let's say, for example, you've got a full rare team with your rare pets and your rare weapons. They've got a 40-day, death cycle or whatever. You've got 5 days left and you get 6 more rares. Well, you can sacrifice those heroes to share their life with your rare team that you've spent and invested your time in. And, obviously replicating 100% is not worthwhile, but hey, if you gave them an extra 75% on their lifespan, then you can basically manage your team on an ongoing basis and always be burning more rares and more rare weapons and more rare pets. So, like, if you want to extend the life of your pet, get another pet where you burn a rare pet and your rare pet gets 75% more life. If you burn an uncommon, for example, you get 50%. Just metrics along those lines that create, because again, and think of it this way, right now you're only maintaining 6 heroes for your build, but and I'm gonna ask you this question after this statement to see what your thoughts on it are. Is obviously we've got PvP, which is person versus person. We've got guild wars, clan wars, which are group based on the possibility of defeating multiple enemies. And we've got the asset farms of trying to push, normal and high and hard level difficulties, all of which have different combinations of heroes that are more effective. Obviously, we're seeing a meta lineup with Black Sapphire, Lone Werewolf, Deadly Nightshade, Field Medic sometimes, Faith Healer, and the Healing Nun. They seem to be kind of the more meta classes, Devil's Follower as well. But imagine being able to maintain more than 6 heroes and being able to expand their life cycles and being able to mix and match depending on the week, whether it's a clan or a guild or your hero ladder and things like that. But like for your team, do you have a specific focus on the setup that you're doing? Are you focusing on hero ladders? Are you focusing on PvP, on the wars? Like what's your build up consistent of?
What I've been trying to do is having an overall team. So, but right now I'm still experimenting with different heroes to understand their own mechanics. But the part that it's been hard is that unlocking the skills, right? So a hero changed further from the more skills they unlock. Some of them, some not. And learning these things, I think the only way you could do it is on practice with trial error. There's no other way to learn. Like, let me show you. For example, I have this rocket science with all these skills unlocked, and I don't feel it's that powerful. Okay, but if you tell me, for example, would I like to have unlock on these skills? Absolutely. So, but how will you figure out which skills are good and which are not? On the go. On the go, you have to go. For example, my devil follower, if you tell me if I would be happy to have this skill unlocked, yeah, for sure, absolutely. So trial and error gave us this that's intuitive feeling that I think we're looking, and the more you do it, the better. And now that I think about it, having irradiated heroes to test the skills, like if you get an irradiated hero, you could use it just to test if those skills suit your play style. Talking about the longevity of the heroes, of course, I would like to be able to in a way make my heroes last longer. But I really think that would be very hard for the at the end for the whole gas hero mechanic, because if I sacrifice one hero and that will expand the life of the hero that I know is going to die, I won't have to invest not in the pets and not in the weapons and and not unlocking the skills and all these things. Uh, so if you give me the option, so if I'm trying to think as a player and as a developer, I think my set of mind every time, for example, when I've been working in other industries, I was trying to think how would I think as an employee and how would I think as an owner, and sometimes this way of thinking have a clash, right? So, for example, in this case, I would be able to trade, let's say, to pay. Would you pay double the price? Let's say right now, let's say you have a common hero, right? Would you be able to pay instead of the floor price 360? Would you be able to pay, let's say, 750 to increase in double the life of the hero you already have?
If it was double, no. But if it was, let's say, for example, and this is where I love math, because again, similar to yourself, I like to think of it from all ways. And while the theory of expanding their life sounds good, you have to think of okay, how many assets are burned during that process? How many experience potions, how many gas cans, and et cetera, et cetera. Um, if by sacrificing a hero you gain 75%, it actually burns. Oh, here we go. Good luck. Ah, Godfather. Oh, I think that's, you got your mic on mute there.
That was okay. Okay, sometimes you win. Okay, so these two appear in an unexpected minted, and they gave me the worst possible outcome. I accept the loss. I accept it. Okay, that's fine. Part of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah. But that's it's let's actually have a look here and see if I have anything. I may do one while we're on stream. They're all insufficient levels on this one. Or maybe, let's see. Do I have any? Yeah, I'll do a Nightshade. But if you're doing 75%, so if you sacrifice a rare hero and by 75%, you actually increase your the amount of overall experience potion and gas cans that you burn on the back end, which actually ends up, there you go, stabilizing a lot more of the ecosystem. But at the same time, and your Devil's Follower, for example, is a perfect example. Like a lot of your skill trees, I had a look there and saw that you haven't leveled them up, and that's the one thing with commons is the incentive to actually burn commons to get those skill points isn't necessarily at the moment worth it for unless you've got a rare team that you're trying to compete at the highest levels. But if you had a pathway that allowed you, like you're at max level now with 3 skills unlocked there, but if you had a pathway that you could burn, for example, a common hero and increase your skill sets that you had available, if you were able to expand your life cycle, you would be able to then go, okay, I want to build my team. I am going to make sure they survive for the long term. And guess what? Now the skill trees become valuable because your gameplay has changed from using them in their base form until they expire to using them and making them as strong as possible. And I think that's kind of, for me, what I love about Gas Hero is creating the strongest possibility of heroes that you can. Like if I jump here, like the first thing I did with this team, I burned a lot of heroes. Um, I unlocked a lot of their skill trees. I was going for guild leader, but there was a silent sniper, a super strong person who demolished me. So, but basically now I've got all these heroes with the first tier of skill points unlocked in each of their sections. Um, but again, if I right now that's enough for me. But if I was able to extend their life cycles, absolutely I would be minting a lot more commons and burning them for the precise purpose of making that specific team as strong as they could be. I would upgrade their pets, I would upgrade their weapons. And similar, like the concept works for weapons and pets too. Well, add a life cycle to the pets. If I want to extend the life cycle of my hero, well, guess what? I still have to add a pet at some rarity to extend its life form. And then you've got supply being burned at common level, uncommon level, rare level that helps sustain the rest of the ecosystem. And I actually had this debate with someone this morning was, in order for us to scale, price point necessarily isn't really a factor in achieving more of a user base. Yes, the price gets cheaper, but with any game, the first thing you look at is, okay, if I buy a hero, what's my ROI going to look at? And you look at what the price was a week ago. You look at the price that was 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden you see, okay, it's down 50% in a week, it's down 100% in 2 weeks. Well, it's going to be a risky sort of thing. Whereas, again, we look at Steppen as a prime, and I use this as an example. We achieved 3 million daily active users when sneakers were about $500 for a common. And it's because we had a really long period of time because of the demand where prices were really, really, really stable. And that's the key to growth and scaling any of these businesses, is having enough of a supply burn mechanism at the bottom to create that stability in price, because new players look and go, okay, hey, if I can look at this and I've got a month to where I can try an ROI back, then I'm going to throw in $500 or $600, not a problem. And I think that's where we're at the moment. And is that yours or?
So this is my other account. I'm talking about what you're saying. It's just let's talk about the Genesis heroes. For example, I got these two Genesis heroes, and you know what? I have no way to scale them. They're just
Yeah.
dead meat here. Like this Genesis common just got one skill, and I have no way to upgrade it. So what can I do with it? I have this other one with just two skills unlocked. So it's pretty much not good at all, and it's not giving me that utility for the amount, for the price of a Genesis, right? So I still think there's many mechanics. And now that you were talking about grabbing a okay, so thinking about it, yeah, if you have the ability to expand the hero, also you should, like, your pets should die as well, and maybe the weapons should decay, and you had the chance to repair them, as we see in other games, right? And that will give if you already have a lineup, the edge. But then if I tell you, what would be the incentive for people to mint or to get more heroes?
Oh, very easy, because it requires heroes to be burned. And this is actually an interesting one that I brought up, and I've made this suggestion as well. Is if you look at, obviously, okay, so the ability to be able to upgrade the base stats is going to be, I think, one of the biggest possible positive changes that they can do. Because right now, if you look at the marketplace and you look at the amount of rare heroes that are sitting in such a very low price, it's because their stats aren't high. And I'd say that, for example, your Genesis fit into that category. It's amazing having a Genesis because they're going to be usable throughout multiple seasons. But you actually look at the base stats of these rares. The whales at the top end, they're mass minting rares, trying to hunt for those perfect high stat caliber heroes, because they want to compete at those high levels, because the rewards at those high levels are insane. Like Rain, I mean, he's getting 100K for those those big wins that he's running. It's absolutely obscene. But there's no use for these at a high level, so they mint them to 2, and then they get sold as quick as possible to take out. But imagine if you could burn common heroes and receive, let's say, 5 stat point upgrade points, to where you can add them to your attack, your HP, or your defense over time. Or if it was an uncommon, getting 10 points, or another rare, 40 points. And over time, that Yokozuna, who has, not the greatest stats, all of a sudden you can level up and add, let's say 300 stat points by burning common heroes. So not only can you build your perfect team, you could actually get a really good team for a lower price because they have bad stats. But over time, if you can extend their life cycle and burn common heroes to increase their stats, after a month or two, you can potentially get them to a max stat team that can compete against Rain or Cuckoo Fuking or Christian, and those sort of things. And it's mechanisms like that that allow the burning, because again, there's a mass supply of commons right now, a mass supply of uncommons and rares. Stuff like this, small changes, provides longevity and psychology for the players because you've adopted a team, you've concentrated on minting commons, and now you're putting those commons into your rare team that don't end up on the marketplace, and all of a sudden there's a supply shortage, which creates a stability in demand. And I also, this is one thing I brought up, and I was actually vocal about it with Stepan as well. I think one of the biggest damaging thing is the minting of higher rarity items, because if you get someone who does a common and a rare mint, well, they're going to sell the rare, and it's not at the rare floor price, the rare times rare. They're going to sell it, undercut everybody, and that's what forces it down. But if hypothetically, if you look at the cost of a rare and a rare mint, well, the benefit is nothing to the lower levels for the whales that are doing it. They're doing that mint and then selling the bad stats and keeping the good stats. It actually doesn't benefit the ecosystem as a whole. But if you were to eliminate, and I'm curious on your thoughts on this, the minting and breeding of uncommons and rares, and add an enhancement type feature like Steppen, where your only pathway of rarity progression is doing a hero fusion. So you combine 3 common heroes and you get 1 uncommon. You combine 3 uncommon heroes and you get 1 rare. Well, based on that, for every rare team, you're burning 54 common heroes from the bottom to get to that rare team. So all of a sudden, burning happens from the bottom up, and you're burning the same amount of gas cans and experience potions. It just naturally provides more of, and that's what's needed, is more common, baseline burn control of those assets, and that's how we create stability. That's just my opinion, though.
So I think we have already talked about it, and I really think, and I like that idea of just banning the minting of uncommons and rares, and being able just to create them from the pool of the commons. I really like it. We're still keeping the, because FSL team likes it. I don't know, like in a way, I think it's part of game mechanics and game theory. The FSL team likes to use many random chances in different mechanics, right? So still minting like that will have that random chance. Maybe not the down a random chance of getting a sneaker below, but it will totally help to burn the sneakers that are in the market, the heroes that are in the market. So I really like, and I really think that's a self-sustainable mechanic that they were testing in a way with the rainbows, but still needs to be improved. And I really thinking that that perspective, it would be the right way to go.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, if obviously we're all degens in some way, shape, or form. We like that adrenaline rush of minting and getting, that exciting factor. And that's the thing, when you limit it to just commons, you still have the double chance to get 2 of the commons. They can even still have a chance to get 1 of the uncommons, but by minting, you can't mint common and uncommon, or common and rare, and common and uncommon and uncommon, and rare and rare. You stick to the minting of commons, but you still have that, oh my god, I just got an uncommon. That's the rewarding thing. And guess what? It just saves you from having to spend 3 more commons to fuse together. And you can also build your team. So if you want to set up a mint farm focusing on black sapphire, well, you combine 3 black sapphires, or 4 to make it easier. Well, you've got a 100% chance of getting a black sapphire. You don't know what the stats are going to be, but you've got a 100% chance. Whereas if you do, let's say, for example, 2 black sapphire and 2 of the tactical police, well, you've got a 50-50 chance of each. It's exactly like how it was with enhancing and Steppen, and the sockets that were provided. There's so many different ways that they can play on that. And I think, it's the end goal should be to create stability, because we create the stability, we get more players. We get more players, the price goes up. We get more players, there's more spending in the market house and the auctions, which increases the prize pools for the whales, which attracts more whales, which attracts more users and players, and it becomes kind of a repeating process. Oh, good luck. Oh, there you go. Oh, your mic's on mute there.
Oh, there you go. So at least, I like to mint just commons, because I hate having that feeling of the uncommon losing thing. I hate it. I did it right now for the sake of of the stream, but I hate it. I just prefer. I'm one of those person who's goes towards safetyness, and sometimes once in a while takes risk than going all the way risk. There's some people who are all the way into risk, but in my case, I would love to just the mechanics that you were talking. It would be my perfect mechanic for me, right? So let's see if they can hear us, and we just plant the seed of that.
Oh, hugely. And I think I'm going to actually do a mint here as well. I think just seeing as you are as well. I just got to do one experience potion run. So I'm doing the high number 4. But like, and then this is what I say to most people. And this is why I love longevity. Um, Stepping for a lot of users and also not for a lot of users has been very rewarding. And I've noticed that the trend is it's been rewarding for those who aren't thinking about the ROI and are just playing the game to basically enhance their life for the health and fitness side, Steppen specifically. And it becomes very rewarding. And I think the same goes with Gas Hero. The sooner that people can take out of their mind of, you know, ROI super quick, I need to get my money, and create on that longevity and sustainability factor, it becomes more enjoyable, where you can appreciate the simple game mechanics and have a bit of fun and, leveling and breeding and, playing with those different aspects. Let's see what I've got to
Well,
that one.
you know what, Riddick? The thing of it, like maybe some people don't understand that the game. I'm going to say maybe the game is not the more important part of of what we're doing. I really think the most important part is exactly right now what we're doing, like streaming, being able. Remember the first time that we spoke, like 2 years ago, right? You from Australia, I'm from Mexico. We were talking about these things in common. Like right now, I'm here staying with some very cool guys in Miami. I think being and share this experience can help us to achieve other things in life. And for me, Steppen is being reward, rewarding not just for okay. Of course, we all like if you were here 2 years ago, you've been seeing the deeper of the deep of the deep, right? And that's okay. It's part of the show. But Steppen has been rewarded for me in other aspects. And for example, if I don't take in mind that ROI that you're talking, even monthly, Steppen is giving me more than that that investment would give me in a bank, for example, right? So a little bit more. So that bit more, if we add it into the many years at the end, it's a win-win. And plus, if you add that walking has helped me so much as a creator, as an artist, and stepping and this project has helped me to create a at least my personal Armandi brand, and that has made me be known in places like in Japan and in other places. I think that is the real deal of what we are doing, that what you're doing, and we should focus on that part. And of course, you need to enjoy it because if you don't enjoy it, what's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I actually remember when you started first messing around with the AR stuff, and we were talking about the virtual reality, augmented reality, and I remember seeing, the first. I think it was before they changed the design, even the first mystery box, and the contents of the mystery box with the GMT and the GST and the gems and things like that, and just thinking, yeah, he's going to do something really interesting. And I'm waiting for the day that you announce that, hey, you're now working with FSL on helping them actually develop, stepping into more of that augmented reality kind of design. And, as we get the technology with the Apple Vision and the Meta glasses, I think that there's big, future potential for, people like you in that space.
There you go. Good luck, my friend. Oh, but okay,
Street position.
there
that's
you go.
that's the other worst one from Godfather.
Oh yeah, I do like that one. Actually, I have a lineup with that one, and it's been working good for me. It's a heal. Well, I have two healers in that lineup, and it's been not that bad. So, as I'm saying, it depends on the different strategies that you're trying. Okay, so we have cool heroes here.
Yeah, that's my lineup. But that's the thing. Even the breeding, like again, people look at that and go, "Oh my god, I wouldn't use that." So hey, I'm going to sell it. For me, it's that's fantastic because I still need a few more commons for my other rare team to increase my energy. So it's a win-win, and that's again, that's the mindset when you take away that ROI stress of, hey, now I can start. And again, like even with this team, I've got my first uncommons because I bought my rare team, I think day 5 of having my uncommon team. So they're expiring in the next day. So I'll need to fill a few more commons there as well. So you kind of look at that and go, okay, there's ways to play this game and think outside of the box where, you know, ROI doesn't really become a factor.
You know, uh, why this is important, and that's why. But you only learn this by experience. Why we always saying invest what you can afford. We're saying that part because I really think the important part in Web3 is surviving. Is
Yeah.
surviving because if the market takes you out, then you're done. You cannot do anything.
Oh,
But
hugely.
if you survive through the market, that's where we can get these tipping points that we're looking, right? The tipping points are what we call in here in crypto going to the moon. But if you're out of the market, how will you experience these tipping points? And the more you are involved into the market, I'm not going to say it's like you will become like a prophet, but you have a little bit more advantage to understanding when these tipping points will happen, and you will be prepared. And even when these tipping points happen, also you will learn how to get out of it.
Yeah,
So I
massively.
really
And like we've seen the behavior, and this is I love this part as well because I always bet on teams more so than the project based on the historicals. I've been with Steppen since, the first, the very first months. I've been through the highs of the high, the lows of the lows. I've strategized, I've built different things around how they run the company and things like that. And that's kind of, for me, that was my personal motivation for getting into Gas Hero. Was it's the same team. And you know what I learned from Stefan is there were a lot of strategies that I implemented, and while people left, there were a lot of people that weren't happy, obviously, with the price drop that we saw there, and they left. They weren't there for the opportunities that we were able to create by sticking by. We've seen that the team adapts and that they change. Yes, there's things going on with Gas Hero at the moment, but the basic foundations are there. you know, I've seen people leave since they made those nerfs, and people get pissed off that, hey, oh my god, this is not good and things like that. Well, hey, that's the situation for right now. As long as you play that strategy for survival, well, guess what? When a new change comes in, and it may be a change for the best, the better, it may be a change for the worse, but you can still participate. You haven't invested anything more. You haven't bought anything more. You're still maintaining and still achieving a little bit of monetization if that's your strategy over the long term. But all it takes, and things like, again, with Stefan, I've received airdrops from like the Halloween special sneakers. I've received, various things and prizes of the stuff that they do. I'm sure Gas Heroes is going to do the same. We see it with some of the stuff. I just got one of the 100 by 100 DNA fragments for producing some content. That's all wins, and all those little things, they add up very big in the end. So again, like it's surviving, 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 and creating longevity in your game style.
couldn't agree more because at the end you really like, but it's like in any business, right? It's like in any business, surviving is a key part of it. And understanding, okay, if you're lucky and suddenly your business goes successful from night to day, okay, that's okay, but most business are not like that. Even when I was working as a brand manager for a American franchise, bringing them back to Mexico. I remember taking these courses in the States. Actually, the last course that I took was here in Miami, from an Italian restaurant called Buca di Beppo. And they tell you in the course, like when you're opening a franchise, they tell the owner. I was hired as a brand manager, but they tell the owners, when you open a business, you need to have enough money to support that business at least for a year. And usually people, they don't think about it. They invest everything that they have, expecting that this business, one that they invest everything that they have, will support them. And it is not like that. So it's the same with what we're experiencing here in Gas Hero. But if you set up your mind as we're saying again, survival, and you're saying survival, and I'm saying survival as well. Your mindset change, and why your mindset change, by the way, change, go to my screen, because I'm going to level up an uncommon to level 30 to see how many skills I'm going to unlock, just for the sake of I'm preparing my teams, right? So that is the thing, the more we get involved into the community, the more we do all these things, we have more opportunities to create wealth, right?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
luck at all. So this one just 3-1. Damn it. Okay.
Yeah,
What
but
can I
Space
say?
Captain's a good tank.
Yeah, but I wanted the fourth skill. This is the pretty good skill. So,
But let
anyways,
me ask you
okay.
this. Let me ask you this with the other skills, because I do see a lot of people that love to get the skills. They only become useful if you burn and put your skill points into them.
What?
So the skill points, they only take effect once you burn and put and level them up. So you don't actually get any benefit from them unlocking until you put your skill points into them.
But why, for example? No. So here you say you can read that if it gets unlocked, you get the 50% chance. If you go to the
Yep.
skill tree and you unlock it, it will just increase that percentage.
No, because it right now you're at 0. It's not active. It only becomes active when you unlock your first tier.
I don't think so. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, not at all. I have my space captain right now in this lineup has actively used this skill.
Yeah, I'll show you an example here. So as an example, let's see. I'm just trying to find if I okay, I'll share my screen here so you can see. So as an example, on my Arctic Sheriff, I've got that tier 1 that is available because I've
Uh-huh.
put that point. So it shows that I've got 1 point, which activates that skill set. The other 2, even though it's there, they're not active because I haven't put a skill set, or I'm just trying to see.
No, no, I don't
Oh, there
think
we go.
so. I don't think so, my friend, because my heroes are using their skill actively
Really?
with
Okay.
0 points. With 0 points.
Let's see. Hang on. Skill. I think that one I've got a few in.
Like, for
Well, that
example, yeah.
holding a book. What's the baseline? Let's see. Yeah. Oh, not enough GMT there. Let's just see. Yeah, actually, you are right. Okay, because that changed from 15 to 20%. Okay. Wow,
Yes.
I've miscalculated that.
Okay, so it's part of, like, we're learning many things. Like, Anita has teach me many things as well that I didn't thought I would knew, but we all learn from it. Like, if, like, for example, that's the thing. For example, if you share my screen again, I'm going to show you my other account, and I have this Amazon Warrior. And this Amazon Warrior in the boss fights is amazing because of this fourth skill, and is using it actively. So the skill level 0 will give you 25% chance to disarm. And then if you upgrade to level 1, it will give you 30, and then all the way to 50.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
We can always learn something new. We can always learn something new.
Well, that I'll show you this one. Hang on. What account was that one in? Let me just log in before I switch my screen over. I think it's in this one. Um, okay, let's see. Actually, I'm pretty certain it's in this one. Heroes.
By the way, I rename the land that I'm with as Armandi land.
I love it.
You call the clan ridiculous, and I just landed there, and Armandi land is here.
Well, that's what you need to do. You need to set up a guild called Armandi Land.
Armandi land.
All right, so
Not
this I think is my number 1 hero, just based on the skills. My Arctic Sheriff, I was able to get all of the 7 skill points unlocked. But I didn't know that they were all usable, so I was like, "Oh, it's great having that,"
Oh
but I
no,
haven't put points in to unlock.
it's using it. So the starting is. Could you go back? Let me just see the two last skills.
So we've
Is
got that one.
okay. Increase damage. Okay, and the other one.
Uh,
Okay, that's pretty cool. If you have a healing setup.
yeah, I mean, once, and that's the thing. That's what I love about the theory crafting and the game theory in these is, you look at their base levels and what they're able to do, but it's really when you start factoring in, okay, after 6 or 7 cycles, and I've got points in all of these. Well, how good is this one going to be when I'm at that 20%? How good is the Arctic Might when it's at 30%, and all of a sudden you've got all these maximum healing teams or super frequent stunning teams or shielding teams that it really plays that huge effect. So again, like the
That
game's full of endless possibility.
And I'm going to call again that damn telekinetic woman is overpowered. I really think if the telekinetic woman has the fourth skill unlocked and maxed out in the skill tree, it's super overpowered. Jump into the skill tree of the telekinetic woman.
Oh yeah, let's have a look. I think I've actually got one of those somewhere. I've actually never used her in a lineup yet, but I see a lot of meta being used. Is she in here?
No,
She
just go into
may.
the skill tree. Just go into the skill
Right,
tree.
right, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that one, that one.
The
She is.
telekinetic woman, yes, should be somewhere. Where
Oh,
Anita,
the
telekinetic
Techno Rat.
woman is what faction? Oh yeah,
There we go.
we'll find it.
Techno Rat.
So that should be the fourth skill. No, it's not
So the
that one. It should be what that. No, that one not. I think should be the same. Yeah, that one. Man, so every time that you attack, like seriously, just with no skills at all, like with no skill trees, you attack her and all your heroes get stunned. I faced one telekinetic woman that was in front of the line, and pretty much 4 of my heroes were permanently stunned.
but there's because with all the code names, there's always an identical, right? And I think it's this one.
No, 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 no. It's
No, the one on
the only one that has that a chance to be stunned if someone attacks you is the telekinetic woman.
really. Oh, okay. For some, I think there's the baseline skill of the single stun, but yeah, I mean that's super
Yeah,
overpowered.
yeah. The single so that telekinetic woman can stun you like the rocket, like the rocket scientist, the one that you showed us before, and also can stun people that attack her. And also, if you see the last skill, can stun at the beginning two characters.
Oh yeah, that if you look at that, that's this one here, the telekinesis illusion. If that's at 100% to stun 2 enemies for 8 seconds at the beginning of every match,
Yeah.
that
So
oh
what the heck with that? So you can make a tank of a telekinetic woman. You place a high level, maybe like a trend, because it gives you more a top HP and also MP, and there you go. You have a permanent stone telekinetic woman.
But this is where, and Chunky actually made a good point about this. Is I think there's some undiscovered metas in the mist. Like if you can imagine having telekinetic woman as a stun, and then what is it? I think Charming Attorney is the other stun. Um, but also adding in the speed changes. So after every third normal attack, deal 15% damage and stun them for 4 seconds.
Yes.
You could essentially, if you increase that speed on both of them achieving the same thing, just to make sure it's the right one. Lasting 10 seconds. No, not that one. Maybe that one.
Yes, is that one. The
That
rocket
one, yeah.
scientist.
Yeah. So basically, if you had both of those with 2 speed, you could essentially keep the entire team stunned for the entire duration and have like let's say a deadly nightshade and a devil's follower with no tanks at all. You could essentially just play the stun game the entire thing. I'd be
Pretty
tempted to
much.
actually, I may
And
even
then
do that for a common team and set that up just to see how it plays out.
You just need the fourth skill, and then add the red mercury. At the red mercury, increase the damage against stun enemies, and there you go. You have a line.
Yeah, red mercury is from memory. There we no,
It's
that's Professor
wisdom.
Dark Matter. What one is it?
Wisdom. Yeah,
Oh,
it's in
wisdom.
there.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Oh, there
It
we go.
should
First
be.
one. Uh, there we go.
Yeah, it's the fourth skill as well.
Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3.
It should be
That one.
that one. No, is then in the skill tree is the second one. In the skill tree is
Right.
going to be the second. No, the second
Uh,
from bottom to from top to bottom. That one.
yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. Okay, that's a
So
big thing.
do you see if you max it out? Also, it's 120% extra damage to stun targets.
So yeah, that I may set up a lineup, and maybe next time if you're able to jump in on
Sure.
a co-host, I may actually for fun and giggles set up a both of the stun heroes, both of the speed change heroes, a deadly nightshade and red mercury, just to see how potent that can be. Even if it's just the level 1 stats, I'd be curious.
I think that would be pretty good to see because it looks overpowered. The only thing is finding those heroes in the market, right? With those four skills, and that's it. I may
Yeah,
actually do it as well. So let's see if the next time that we meet, we have that.
we'll put them up against each other.
Yeah. Let's try to build the best common stun team.
Let's see. Yeah, I've got none of them on this one. So yeah, I'll have to go
I
through
have
all the
none
ones
of
I've
them.
got.
I have none of them. Checking the market. Okay, let me see more. Let me go in more if there's any of the. Let me jump into more. Let me share that screen. Okay, I have my screen and let's look for that hero. Are you there? Do you have my screen or not? Hello, hello? 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 Yeah.